What's up, everybody, and welcome to Uncut Truth TV. I'm your host, Derek Andrews from Uncut Truth Ministries, and I'm here basically to talk about the mainstream media. I call it the lamestream media because that's what they are. The reason I want to talk about that because I've talked to so many people over the years in different places. I've lived in 4 different states, traveled a little bit, talked to many people. What I've come to find out, and I don't mean this disrespectfully, is that a lot of people in America they're just blind to the truth. They're just desensitized to certain things. They're just brainwashed. They've just been fed a bill of goods. Okay, they believe a lot of things the government tells them. They believe what the mainstream media tells them, and the mainstream media, they have an agenda. They lie all the time, and I'm talking about all of them: ABC, CBS, NBC, MSNBC, CNN, Fox News, all of them. Yeah, there are some truths they tell, but they do a lot of spin, a lot of half-truths, and they tell you what they need to know because of the people who own and control them. So, the people own and control them are the Illuminati. Now, some people don't even believe the Illuminati exists. They absolutely exist in the form of certain other organizations like the Bilderberg Group, Trilateral Commission, Council on Foreign Relations, the Federal Reserve, the IRS, the UN, the Illuminati. All the Illuminati families founded all of these organizations. David Rockefeller and the Rockefeller Foundation, the House of Rothschilds or the Rothschild dynasty from London. They are at the top of the Illuminati chain. So I'm not going to get into in great detail who the Illuminati is. I'm going to give you a brief overview of them. I'll let you know what they control and what the companies that they control. Because until you begin to understand who controls the media, you won't believe what I'm saying. You'll still continue to watch CNN and just listen to everything they say and just go with it. Every fad that's out there, every man-made tradition that comes along, everything that the culture and society pushes on you, you begin to flock to it, and you'll start to believe these things. So you can start by taking out a dollar bill. Look at the left-hand side. You'll see a pyramid. Okay, that's an Illuminati symbol, very clear. Right above that pyramid, you'll see a detached capstone. Within that capstone, you'll see an eye. That's referred to as the all-seeing eye. It represents the Egyptian god Osiris. And that eye, of course, again, is in the middle of that capstone. You'll see a lot of entertainers do that. Jay-Z does that a lot. When you see him do his symbol with the pyramid with his eye in it, you see everyone from Beyonce to Rihanna to Alicia Keys when they do interviews or when they have photo shoots in magazines. You see them. They'll cover one eye, and because the Illuminati, they're letting you know who they work for, okay, who controls them. The Illuminati loves to do that. Whoever they control, subliminally, they want them to just let the public know who they work for. Because a lot of the public, they're laughing at us because we're so dumbed down, so desensitized, so conditioned and brainwashed that we don't know. So now, again, the left side of your dollar bill, look above the detached capstone of the pyramid. You'll see a Latin phrase that says "Nunc coeptis." That means, as translated in English, he favors our undertaking. If you look below the pyramid, you'll see a Latin phrase, "Novus Ordo Seclorum." That literally means New Order Secular or New Order of Ages, also translated New World Order. So they're telling, and FDR is the one to approve this. They're telling us right then and there that he favors our undertaking of the New World Order. They're not talking about the God of all gods, Jesus Christ of the Bible. They're talking about the God that all-seeing eye represents, who is Lucifer in essence, but it represents the God, the false Egyptian god Osiris. Okay, so the Illuminati put that there. Now, again, I'm gonna really get into the mainstream media because the Illuminati owns the media. Okay, whether you realize it or not. Back in 1983, there was approximately 50 corporations that control the vast majority of all news media in the United States. Today, 2014, the ownership of the news media has been concentrated into the hands of just 6 incredibly powerful media giants. These corporations control most of what we watch, hear, and read every single day. They own everything. They own television networks. They own cable channels, movie studios, newspapers, magazines, publishing houses, record labels, and many of your favorite websites. And sadly, most Americans don't even stop to think about who's feeding them the endless hours of news and entertainment that you constantly ingest. Most people don't even seem to care about who owns the media, but you should. Why? Because the truth is that each and every one of us is deeply influenced by the messages that are constantly being produced and pushed in our heads by the mainstream media. Did you know the average American watches 153 hours of television a month? That's crazy. In fact, did you know that most Americans will begin to feel physically uncomfortable and almost to the point of ill if they go too long without watching or listening to something? When's the last time you got in your car and you didn't even turn on the radio or pop in a CD? When's the last time you came home from work and didn't turn on the television? Sadly, most Americans have become actually addicted to news and entertainment. And the ownership of that news and entertainment that we crave is being concentrated into fewer and fewer hands each year. Now, let's talk about these 6 major media giants. They pretty much collectively control the U.S. media, and that's Time Warner, Walt Disney, Viacom, Rupert Murdoch's News Corp, CBS Corporation, and NBC Universal. These 6 together, they're commonly referred to as the Big 6. They absolutely dominate news and entertainment in the United States. But even those areas of the media that the Big 6 don't completely control, they're still becoming increasingly concentrated. For example, you've probably heard of Clear Channel. Now, Clear Channel owns over 1,000 radio stations across the United States. And even companies like Google, Yahoo, and Microsoft, they are increasingly dominating the internet. But it's the Big 6 that are biggest concern. The Illuminati owns and controls them. So why? Because what you watch, what the American people watch, hear, and read, okay, gain a great deal of control over what they think. If you're controlling what we watch, hear, and read, then you're controlling what we think, how we're influenced, how we act. Okay, now, what I'm going to do, I'm going to give you those companies. I'm going to tell you who they own. What other companies they own? Let's start with Time Warner. Time Warner owns HBO. They own Time Inc., Turner Broadcasting System, Warner Brothers, CW, actually partial ownership of the CW network. They own TMZ, New Line Cinema. Many movies are produced out of New Line Cinema. They own Time Warner Cable, Cinemax, Cartoon Network, TBS, TNT, America Online, MapQuest, Castle Rock, Sports Illustrated, Fortune, People Magazine. Now, let's talk about Walt Disney. Walt Disney owns ABC Television Network, Disney Publishing, ESPN, Disney Channel, A&E, Lifetime, Buena Vista Home Entertainment, Buena Vista Theatrical Products, Disney Records, Hollywood Records. They own Touchstone Pictures. Many movies are produced out of Touchstone Pictures. They own Walt Disney Pictures. Viacom's a huge one. They own Paramount Pictures. They own Paramount Home Entertainment. They own BET. Viacom does. They own Comedy Central, Country Music Television. They own the disgusting Logo channel. Logo is an all-homosexual network. They own MTV, MTV Canada, MTV2, Nick Magazine, Nick at Night, Nickelodeon, Spike TV, the movie channel, VH1, TV Land. Viacom owns all of that. News Corporation, let's talk about them. Rupert Murdoch owns that. He's part of the Illuminati. He owns Fox. News Corporation, they own the Dow Jones Company. They own Fox Television, New York Post, Searchlight Pictures. They own Fox Business Network, Fox Kids in Europe. They own FX. They own My Network TV. They own MySpace. They own Sky Perfect TV, Star TV in Taiwan, Star TV in India. They own Times in London, 20th Century Fox. They own Direct TV, the Wall Street Journal, Fox Broadcasting Company, Harper & Collins Publishing. They own Sky Radio, Star. They own Zondervan, which is a major publishing corporation. CBS is the next one, 5th one. They own CBS News. They own CBS Sports, CBS Television. They own CNET. They own Showtime. They own TV.com. They own CBS Outdoor. They also own 50% of CW Network. They own Simon & Schuster, which is a publishing company. They own Westwood One Radio Network. Last one is NBC. NBC owns Bravo, CNBC, NBC News, MSNBC, NBC Sports, NBC Television Network. They own Oxygen. They own the Sci-Fi Network. They own Telemundo. They own USA Network. They own the Weather Channel. They own Universal Pictures, Universal Studios. They own these 6 major media conglomerates own pretty much everything. And listen, you've got to understand, these gigantic media corporations do not exist to objectively tell the truth to the American people. Rather, their primary focus is to indoctrinate you with a particular type of worldview to get you to adhere to and come on the side of the New World Order, and mostly for money. That's the bottom line. When is it not about money? These gigantic media corporations are not going to do anything to threaten a relationship with their biggest advertisers also, such as the largest pharmaceutical companies that literally spend billions on advertising. Now, who owns these large pharmaceutical cartels? You guessed it, same family bloodline that makes up the Illuminati, same people who own these 6 major corporations. So, they're always going to express the ideological viewpoints of their owners. You need to understand that. Fortunately, an increasing number of Americans are starting to wake up and are realizing that the mainstream media cannot be trusted. In fact, according to a new poll just released by Gallup, the number of Americans that have little or no trust in the mainstream media is a staggering 57%, which is at an all-time high. This is one reason why we have seen alternative media experience rapid growth on the internet the past few years. Sites like Infowars.com, The Drudge Report, because the mainstream media has been losing credibility at an astronomical rate. In fact, Americans are starting to look elsewhere for truth on what is really going on. Now, let me ask you a question. Do you really think the mainstream media would actually tell you that the Federal Reserve is absolutely destructive and bad for America? They're destroying the economy. Do you think they're going to tell you that? In fact, the only one who did that was Ron Paul when he ran for president. What did they do to him? They marginalized him, made him look like some quack and some goofball. They did the same thing to Congresswoman Cynthia McKinney. Very smart woman. She came out and tried to expose the truth about 9/11. They marginalized her and made her look like some conspiracy theory quack. And most of you people bought it hook, line, and sinker because you listened to the American mainstream media instead of checking things out for yourselves. Do you also think that the mainstream media is going to tell you about the deindustrialization of America? Do you think they're going to tell you about the horrific derivatives bubble that could destroy the entire world financial system? They're not going to tell you about that. Then they're going to tell you the truth about greedy corporations like Goldman Sachs, who own stocks in them. And no, they're not going to tell you that. But luckily, there are a few courageous reporters in the mainstream media. They manage to slip a few stories by their corporate bosses from time to time. Like Lou Dobbs was one of them. He came on CNN and he exposed the fact that America, the government, was trying to turn America into sort of like a United States of Europe, what Europe did with the nations. All the nations, they brought them together under the European Union and they had one currency called the euro. They tried to do that with America. They tried to link America together, merge it with Canada and the United States, called the North American Union. Research it and look it up, okay? And they wanted to have one currency called the Amero. Lou Dobbs, now I researched this, I knew about this years ago. Lou Dobbs was the only one on mainstream media that got that story by his bosses, and he reported it on CNN. And you can see the clip of it on YouTube. I actually watched the live telecast of him doing that. I was blown away. Couldn't believe that he did that. Sure enough, right after that happened, CNN fired him. They got rid of him. He works for Fox News now, which isn't a whole lot better. But the point is that's why they fired him. He released that he was supposed to keep his mouth shut. So there are a few of them out there, but in general, there's a very clear understanding that there are simply certain things that you did not say in the mainstream media. But Americans are becoming increasingly hungry for the truth, and they're becoming increasingly dissatisfied with the dumbed down information that's passing these days as hard-hitting news. So the bottom line is that you cannot believe what the mainstream media tells you. And for heaven's sakes, don't believe anything the government tells you. They're rapidly pushing us into a new world order. What is a new world order? They want a one world government, one world economic system, which they want to cast to society, and they want a one world religious system. It's actually inspired by Satan. The Bible speaks very clear about this. And the Illuminati is at the head of this, controlling this and pushing this. And the Illuminati is who controls and owns these 6 major media giants. So they have an agenda that they want to push upon you. And the sooner you begin to understand that, the sooner you stop being so naive and gullible and just believe in everything. And you'll check things out for yourself. So that's my message for today. God bless you all. Get informed and stay informed.